Hello everyone! Revendreth has been added to the alpha, so we spent a delicious stream playing through the entire zone. In this video, I want to give a quick rundown of the story, like a very summarized version of what you can expect. On Twitch, you can find a full playthrough, so for those that really want to see the entire zone, you can browse it. And then later on, once all the cutscenes are in, once more of the story is in, we'll do a proper Story of. So what's the deal in Revendreth? Well, this is your final questing zone, currently marked for level 57 to level 60, right next to the Maw. And this is the zone where souls are sent that have been very, very bad. If you're sinful, if you're prideful, you go to Revendreth and you get to pay for those sins. It's the Venthyr Covenant that actually works towards smacking that sin out of you. You get your own tombstone with your real name on it. Your sins are described, and the person that holds your tombstone, they can actually have power over you with the right incantations. And over time, they got their special methods to get rid of your sin. If you're able to, you could actually join the Venthyr yourself and, pursue the role of getting the next soul and making sure that their sins are cleansed. You could also, once your sins have been cleansed, decide to go to a different part of the Shadowlands. Perhaps you feel more at home with the Kyrians, then that would be your choice. Or if you're unable to let go of your sins, they will kick you down to the Maw where you can party with the jailer and you will enjoy eternal damnation. The ruler of this area would be Sire Denathrius. He was the creator of the Venthyr. At first, we actually party with them. At first, we actually, ally ourselves with them. We get to learn more about the lands of Revendreth. But over time, we notice that something isn't quite right. Like all the other zones in the Shadowlands, Revendreth is also dealing with a depletion of Anima. That is the lifeblood of this world. Every spirit that goes to the Shadowlands, they bring with them Anima. But now, with everything screwy, that's not going as it's supposed to go. So they're running out of Anima. And they're actually draining souls far beyond they should be. They're draining themselves far beyond they should be. There's not enough Anima to go around, but some believe that there isn't actually a shortage. Some believe that Sire Denathrius is actually responsible. They're the rebellions, they're the troublemakers, and at first we help deal with these troublemakers, only to find out that they are right. Sire Denathrius is actually an ally to the jailer, has actually been stockpiling this Anima, planning to send it down there, with the ultimate goal of the jailer setting himself free from the Maw. That is mentioned quickly in the quest text. I thought that was really interesting. We confront them, we figure out what is going on, and we actually join the rebellion. This is going to be our covenant, which we're going to build up, we're going to prepare our forces, and then we're going to go into the very first raid, which will be Castle Nafria, with Sire Denathrius as the final boss. There was also this really cool part inside of Revendreth, something that they also announced at BlizzCon. But again, on paper, in announcements, in presentations, a lot of things can sound really, really cool, but you don't know if it actually comes to fruition. But this time around, I have to admit, the land scorched by the light is really, really cool to see. The effects that it has on the Venthyr, like they're supposed to be in the vampire category, right? And vampires are not fans of the light, as well as the implications of what does this mean for the power that is known as the light. In the past, the light was like this super good holy force, but over time they're giving more character to it. We've seen this in Alternate Draenor with Ural and the Crusade. We've seen this during Legion with the light trying to enforce Illidan into this role, into this destiny. And now here again, we see the light scorching the lands, not being, as good as it used to be, or it could actually flow back to the ye olden days, because in the past, if an undead, was confronted with the light, it would cause them incredible pain and torture. That over time has actually mellowed out. We've actually seen undead use the light themselves, with the explanation that they can use it, but it just hurts them a lot. Now here we see that these Venthyr cannot stand the light, and it's such a cool section of this zone. It really stands out, and it's gorgeous. I loved it. I really, really did. Another thing that they mentioned at BlizzCon was that we're going to see Kael'thas Sunstrider in this zone. I haven't run into the former Prince of the Blood Elves quite yet. It might be that he only shows up in the raid. It might be that this is part of the Covenant storyline, because you party around, I would say, 3/4 of the zone. That's what you're currently questing in. So there are more sections of Revendreth unexplored, which are most likely going to be connected to the Covenant storyline. Opinion, all in all, I think Revendreth is fantastic. honestly, and it's nicely done. It's tightly done. You can tell that the story is being told with a vision, with a clear focus on where you're heading next. The theme, of course, is really cool. The vampires, like who doesn't like vampires? So the theme is cool. If you like Castlevania, if you like beautiful zones, beautiful in its own decrepit, vampire kind of way, you will not be disappointed. There was only one quest where I was like, I have to kill some bears, I have to kill this and that, but only to have one quest like that in the entirety of the zone, and the rest of it just flowed very nicely. There wasn't a dull moment. That is really good. Like, really well done on this zone. So yeah, I'm curious to see what other stories actually want to tell within Revendreth. A little bit of Shaman Scouting reveals that there are also Maldraxxus forces in this area. And before I forget to mention it, the light that we see in this zone is actually rather interesting, because in Bastion, you have a section with the void powers, right? So far we've seen light and we've seen void. Makes you wonder what kind of outside forces we might run into in Ardenwald or in Maldraxxus, right? I'm kind of curious what they got planned in that direction. And yeah, like I said, it's just a really nice zone to play through. If this is going to be the standard for all the other zones, then the questing, at least in Shadowlands, is going to be really nice. There you go, you're up to speed with a very short summarized version of the story in Revendreth. Once they get more story going, I'll be doing the story of. For coming Monday, we're going to do a little bit something special. Coming Monday is going to be about things that stood out for me for the Shadowlands, some questions that you guys and girls asked, as well as some heavy speculation, so get ready for that. Is there anything else I want to mention? I've had a couple of people ask, like, what about the connection between Revendreth and the Denathrius, the Dreadlords, right? Both of them are very heavily in the vampire theme. Nathrius, Kessel, Nafreza. Like, there's a lot of similarities there. Personally, I think that has more to do with touching upon similar themes as they've done in the past. Like, they've given the vampire theme to the Denathrius, but now they're like, what about a vampire theme in the afterlife? We know a lot about the origin of the Denathrius. We know where they came from. We know that they spawned out of the Twisting Nether. So there isn't a massive connection there. So I'm more of the mindset of this is just similar themes, and I would call the Venthyr closer to the Sen Lane. Like, I think it's more of an interesting question. Like, did the Lich King get the inspiration for the Sen Lane from this section of the Shadowlands? But who knows, right? The story is still being revealed. Who knows what's gonna come next? For now though, let's wrap up this video before I ramble on too long. This is what happens when I work without a script. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. You have been honestly amazing. Thank you so much for joining me during the Shadowlands streams and these videos and leaving comments and being excited about what's to come. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, see ya!